Welcome. In this video, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the resources that are available to you and how you can utilize those. Next week, I'll be starting on the walkthroughs for Project 3, and so I'm going to use this video today to kind of introduce the items that are available for you as you start to work on Project 3. Hopefully by now you've finished wrapping up and submitted and finalized and successfully completed Project 1, and you're very close to doing the same with Project 2, or you've already done so. And by now you're moving into the last 5 and 6 weeks of the course and should be getting ready to begin working on the third and final project. So with that being said, I want to go back over some of the resources that you have available. So I want to start with the course menu in the upper left corner, and if you go to course menu and click on Learning Modules, there you'll be able to use the index or the menu to navigate to the 3 different projects, and we are going to spend our time in Project 3, which is what you'll start on hopefully Monday if you've not already started, talking about supporting social and emotional learning. And so underneath that, I have information on the Project 3 introduction, but there are 3 different units worth of materials. The first one is Unit 3.1, and that's SEL Overview, Unit 3.2 SEL Instructional Practices, and Unit 3 SEL in the Online Environment. I wanted to highlight these resources because we often receive questions about trying to find resources as you're putting together your final submissions. We also sometimes see a lack of citations. And so I want to highlight the fact that a lot of the research is already done for you or been done for you, because when these courses were designed, we intentionally found resources that align to the assignments and the competencies that make up each of the courses. So I want to look at the items in Unit 3.1 for a little bit. And so I'll click Unit 3.1. You have 3 different options. You have Unit Resources, Practice Activities, and Knowledge Checks. We're going to spend our time in the Unit Resources because there are several that I want to highlight just in Unit 3-1. The first is the Core SEL Competencies website. It does say it's a reading, but if you click on that link, it will take you out to the website. You are going to spend a lot of time on this website and in this material from CASEL in Project 3. So if you want to start exploring that website and looking at the interactive SEL framework to get to know what it is, you can download a copy of it. They also have a version in Spanish. There's a video on PBS Learning Media that goes along with this information, so I suggest that you watch that video as well. But those resources are there and available to you. So I want to close that out, and that will take me back to where I was. There's a video on 5 keys to successful social and emotional learning, a reading titled From a Nation at Risk to a Nation at Hope, and then another reading, Learning by Heart, the Power of Social Emotional Learning in Secondary Schools, Executive Summary. So if you are a high school teacher of any kind, you'll want to check out that resource because it will probably have some good information that you could use in your Project 3 submission. If you're an elementary or a younger age teacher, the next item that's on the list is a reading. It's a review of the literature on social and emotional learning for students ages 3 to 8, outcomes for different student populations and settings. That would be a good publication for you to look through to get ideas to put together your Project 3 submission. And if you notice under each of the resources, there's some essential questions that kind of give you more information about what you'll find in those resources. So I'm not going to go into any one of them in depth because I want to keep this short, but I'm going to scroll back up for just a minute. I'm going to go back to my course menu and learning modules page again. And we're going to just click through Unit 3-2 and 3-3 real fast to look at those resources. All 3 units, 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3, come together to provide you information that's key to putting your project together. And so the readings in Part 2 of the unit talk about the whole child and instructional practices revolving around the whole child. There's a good article to start out, the resources, and then enhancing student socialization, key elements, educators' social and emotional skills vital to learning, and so forth. I'm not going to go all the way down the list because you know where those are, and you can explore 3-3 on your own. The other item that I wanted to highlight is if I go back up to the top, at any point in time in the course, you always have in your navigation across the top a link to the Shapiro Library. And so if you don't find the specific resource that you're looking for already built into the course, you can always go out to the Shapiro Library and search the multitude of databases that they have available with resources for you to use. So we're going to click in the keyword search, and we are going to type in social and emotional learning, and we're going to go ahead and search. And so with that, it brings up a variety of different items. It's got a research starter. I can start scrolling down the list. But as I do, I start to notice a couple things. The first item was published around 2010, which is a long time ago. That's over 11 years ago. Now, the second item was published in 2021, so that's more recent in the second, couple. But as I scroll down the list, I'm going to get differences in dates. A lot of those near the top are more recent, 2020, 2021, which means they'll be good. You should see a lot of publications that have occurred within the last 2 years based on everything that's happened with the pandemic. But in order to filter your search, what I wanted to highlight is if you go over to the left, right now it says from, and it says 1889. So I would suggest when you filter out, after you search, you filter out and say anything from 2017 to 2022. When you press enter, it will revise your search results, and from there you can get some specific articles that have all been published within the last 5 years or so. So How Learning Happens, Messaging Framework, a tool for communicating about social, emotional, and cognitive learning. That looks like it would be a really good option. Addressing the social emotional needs of adult learners to ensure workspace success. So check out those resources. The Shapiro Library has lots to offer you as a student at Southern New Hampshire University. So check out those resources. So what you should be doing right now to prepare is you should be working your way through the unit resources in the next week or two, through the unit resources for Unit 3, exploring those, reading those, taking notes. But I did just want to spend some time getting you familiar with the resources you have at hand as you prepare to head into the third and final project for the course. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time.